Businesses compete with each other by offering customers better prices and better quality goods and services. Every business wants to win the customer, particularly when bidding for projects. At times, businesses are so desperate to win the project that they are willing to avoid competition by rigging bids. What is bid rigging? Bid rigging is a form of a cartel. It occurs when businesses who are meant to compete in the tender process illegally agree amongst themselves to avoid competition in order to make larger profits. Forms of bid rigging. For example, cover quoting. Cover quoting can occur when bidder A and bidder B agree that bidder B will price higher, such that bidder A's quotation is seen to be the lowest and most preferred. While bidder A's quotation appears to be the lowest, the price may be inflated and not a true reflection of a competitive price. In exchange, bidder A undertakes to do the same on the next bid, so that bidder B can win. 2. Bid suppression. This occurs, for example, when bidder A asks bidder B not to submit their bid or to withdraw their bid or to intentionally make errors that would render the bid invalid. This is done to ensure that bidder A has a better chance to win the job. In exchange, bidder A undertakes to do the same on the next bid so that bidder B can win. 3. Bid rotation. This occurs, for example, when bidders agree to take turns in winning the job. The bidders may agree, for example, that bidder A will win the tender for this year, bidder B will then win the tender next year, and bidder C the year after. They agree to follow this pattern every time so that each is guaranteed a chance to win the tender. 4. Market allocation. This occurs when bidders agree to allocate their goods or services, geographic markets or customers amongst themselves. The bidders may, for example, agree that bidder A will only bid for tenders in the Western Cape, bidder B will only bid for tenders in Gauteng, and that bidder C will only bid for tenders in KwaZulu-Natal. Bidders may also agree that one of them provides goods or services only to private companies, while the other only provides goods and services to public entities. The bidders may also agree that bidder A will only supply cooking oil in 25-liter packages and that bidder B will only supply cooking oil in smaller packages. This type of bid rigging ensures that all bidders that are party to the agreement each get a piece of the pie. Bid rigging is illegal and is prohibited under the Competition Act. Firms that are found to be guilty of engaging in bid rigging can be fined up to 10% of their annual turnover for first-time offenders and up to 25% for repeat offenders. Furthermore, the directors and managers of these firms can also be found guilty of contravening the Competition Act and can face fines of up to 500,000 rand or imprisonment for up to 10 years. What if you have been involved in bid rigging? Here are the things you should do. You can apply to the Competition Commission for leniency. The Commission's corporate leniency policy allows a person involved in bid rigging to self-report and disclose all information about their involvement in bid rigging in return for immunity from prosecution, fines, and/or imprisonment. Leniency is offered to the first person that reports the activity. The information provided by the bidder must be sufficient to allow the Commission to successfully prosecute the other members of the cartel. Can you report other bidders if you're not involved in the bid rigging conduct? If you suspect that any other bidders are involved in bid rigging, you can report this to the Competition Commission. If you do not want your identity to be disclosed, you can report the suspicion anonymously. How to report bid rigging? If you want to self-report or to report other bidders that may be involved in bid rigging, you can send an email to the Competition Commission at ccsa@compcom.co.za. You can also lodge a formal complaint by completing a CC1 form, which may be accessed from the Commission's website at compcom.co.za. What kind of information does the Competition Commission need when reporting bid rigging activity? When contacting the Commission to report a suspicion of bid rigging, you would need to provide the Commission with the following information in order to help us investigate: the names of the people or companies involved in the suspicion, the details of the tender, for example, who issued the tender, what was the tender for. You can also simply give us the tender number. The Commission will also need to know when the alleged conduct occurred and what it entailed. The Commission would need to know what the bidders did or are doing. Any other relevant evidence that can show that the conduct did take place will be very helpful for the Commission's investigation. Remember to always provide as much relevant information as possible. To avoid being on the wrong side of the law, bidders should not share bid prices with other bidders or share any information about their business or operations that is not publicly available to other bidders. Bidders should not discuss their participation or non-participation in a tender with other bidders or enter into agreements with other bidders on who should win or not win the tender. Bidders should not agree to submit cover quotes that are not intended to win in order to advance a competitor, nor should they agree not to submit bids or to withdraw bids in order to advance a competitor. It is prohibited for bidders to agree to rotate bids amongst themselves or to allocate markets amongst themselves. Rather, bidders should determine prices for the bid independently and always declare any conflict of interest in the bid to the procurement official. Bidders should avoid attending meetings with other bidders or engaging in discussions related to the bid. The Competition Commission of South Africa, growing a deconcentrated and inclusive economy. For more information, visit our website compcom.co.za.